What's up, y'all? Hope everybody out there is having an awesome day. Forgive the setup I have here. It's thunderstorming outside, and so it might be a little bit of secular talk ASMR. You're definitely going to hear some thunder claps and maybe some rain and stuff like that. But the little tripod that I use in situations like this broke. So I'm outside. I sort of have a little janky-ass setup here where I'm like propping the phone up. That might fall a couple times. I got Stinky begging for pets next to me. I'm tired as a motherfucker because I just went to King's Dominion, which is like Six Flags near us here, and it was 98 degrees in that bitch, and I'm out there sweating up a storm. But anyway, I wanted to come here to give you guys some breaking news because we got a bunch of it, and I didn't want to wait until Monday. So right off the jump here, Elon Musk is officially the wealthiest person alive, the wealthiest person to ever live. He's the first ever trillionaire as SpaceX stock now begins trading. So to give you some specifics on this, it's now trading at $150 a share, which means that he's a trillionaire, and the closest person to him is Google co-founder Larry Page, who's worth $304 billion. So he's worth more than double the second richest man, and he's the first person ever to become a trillionaire. He's so wealthy that he has more money than over 170, I believe the exact number is 176 different nations in the world. 176 out of like 194, I believe it is. So he now has more wealth than over 170 nation states, y'all. This is fucking mental. So look, I said it before, I'll say it again. I know all you guys believe this, but we need to spread the word far and wide. Literally nobody should have this much money. Like absolutely nobody should have this much money. This is insane. This is out of this world. You can either have extreme wealth or you can have democracy. You cannot have both of those things, okay? And what we're looking at now is the death of our democracy. What we're looking at now is a situation where one of the worst people alive is now a trillionaire. This guy, geez, that's loud. Terrifying. Stinky's terrified also, by the way. It's okay, Stinky. It's okay, Stinky girl. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So, of course, Elon Musk, as you all know, he's a parasite. He's a welfare queen. He's stolen $38 billion from U.S. taxpayers to do fraud and vaporware and make a bunch of dumbass rockets explode instantly. Okay? This guy's a ketamine addict. He's a fucking Nazi. He's a genuine low IQ dipshit. And total con man. He does fraud, vaporware all the time. And now he's worth $1 trillion. At the same time, we have about 800,000 Americans are homeless. Medical bills are the number one cause of bankruptcy. Over 60% of Americans now live paycheck to paycheck. The bottom 80% of Americans have just 7% of the wealth. So this criminal trillionaire now has the most money of all time of anybody ever. So what's driving me the most crazy about this, I must say, is that the media is not going to talk about this in the proper terms and say this is a literal threat to democracy and the power of the people, which it is. But also, I haven't seen many Democratic politicians come out and flat out say, this shouldn't be allowed. This should be illegal. By the way, he should be in prison anyway for illegally cutting pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels and USAID, which is going to lead to the deaths of literally millions of people. It's already led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands. So on that alone, he should be in prison on that alone. But let's understand, this too is fucking criminal. Give me a sec. I'm going to let Stinky back in. Come on, go in, Stinky. Come on, go in. Come on, Stinky. Come on, Stinky. There you go. So you guys know my proposal. I've told you before, but my idea is tax every penny in net worth somebody has over $999 million at 100%. Okay, and it's a no billionaires tax. It's a no trillionaires tax. And you take that money, you give it for education for people, you give it for healthcare for people. We'll send you a fucking plaque in the mail that says, I want it capitalism, right? And you can hang that bitch on your massive refrigerator in your mansion or your fucking palace or your yacht that has a yacht inside the yacht, right? But we can't do this anymore, bro, because we already have Gilded Age level income and wealth inequality. And I'm surprised people aren't breaking out the motherfucking guillotines already, dog. It almost made me sick looking when I was at the theme park today. Just like seeing how normal everything was. And it's like, you guys do know we're all getting robbed blind, right? That the actual parasites are the welfare queen billionaires who are looting the treasury right in front of our eyes. They're getting tax cuts while your taxes are getting raised. They're getting subsidies from the government. They're getting these pay-to-play corrupt contracts. Like, all that's going on, and people seem very, very unaware of it, and it's really sad to me. It's genuinely sad to me. So the media better start talking about this. I want to see every Democratic politician go out there and say literally nobody should be a trillionaire. In reality, they should also say nobody should be a billionaire, but I don't believe any of them will be that based. But I hope some will be based enough to say, no, nobody should be a motherfucking trillionaire. This is insane. We have people working 3 jobs who can't afford to pay the bills, who can't fucking put a roof over their head, right? Who can't put food on the table. And we have a guy who has $1 trillion in net worth. Nah, son, fuck that. Fuck that shit. Okay, so let me give you some updates on the Iran war, because this is kind of crazy. There's been a lot of stuff happening since I last talked to you. So as you all know, Trump's a psycho. Literally day in, day out, he flips back and forth. We have a deal. It's an incredible deal. We don't have a deal. We're not even talking. I'm going to bomb the shit out of him. He'll go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Okay. Well, now we heard that allegedly there's a 14-point draft memorandum of understanding between Iran and the U.S. Okay. Now what that means is, this is silly, but it's true. It's an agreement to have an agreement eventually. It's sort of like a promise ring, right? Like, it's an agreement to have an agreement eventually. And so as part of this deal, the terms were leaked by Iran. And the terms are basically like permanent and immediate ceasefire on all fronts, including Lebanon. In other words, pull the fucking leash on your dog. Stop letting Israel, like, carpet bomb Lebanon and steal more and more territory. The U.S. can't interfere in Iran's internal affairs at all. You have to respect our sovereignty, lift the naval blockade in 30 days, withdraw your forces from around Iran, namely shut down your motherfucking military bases, reopen the Strait of Hormuz within 30 days, and then it goes on and on from there. Give us back, our money that you stole through sanctions, lift all sanctions. It's all the stuff that we've heard about and talked about quite a bit. Now, theoretically, we heard, oh yeah, the U.S. is going to agree to this. Well, guess what? Then our fucking pedophile-in-chief comes out, and he says, the terms that Iran leaked out of the fake news have nothing to do with the terms that were agreed to in writing. What they said, including their weak and pathetic statement on having a deal, bears no relation to the truth. I'm sorry, Don. I don't believe you, and I 100% believe them. So what's happening is, U.S. negotiators are understanding that Iran has our nuts in a vice grip and has the upper hand here and has veto power over the global economy. And so negotiators are probably ironing out details along the lines of the terms that Iran said. But now Trump, because all he cares about is optics and getting a win, right? He's like, I didn't agree to any of that, actually. You guys are lying. Which means we're right back to square one. So, but this is what I expect from the guy who 39 separate times said, we won the war. And then we're still at the motherfucking war. So you can't do anything with this man. You can't change anything. Like, he's just the least competent man to ever exist. So ready for this? So Trump had come out and said there was an agreement. And then when the terms leaked, he goes, no, not like that. That's not the agreement. They're lying. Okay, well then what the fuck's going on here? Then you have a bunch of accounts on Twitter go, oh, Iran confirms that the U.S. and them have a deal, right? Well, guess what? That was totally fake, completely false, utterly made up. And as Hormuz Letter points out, this is completely false. All reports claiming a deal has been reached, including Trump's claims yesterday, are market manipulation ahead of today's SpaceX IPO. Iran has explicitly rejected that any deal has been finalized. So in other words, this is now what, the 20th time we're seeing brazen market manipulation, and somehow the dipshits are always fucking falling for it like it's working time after time? But guess what? It can't work forever. It cannot work forever. So how long can the market be manipulated? Longer than we expected, but now you have oil executives who are sounding the alarm and going, hey bro, if we don't get that Strait of Hormuz open, we are barbecue chicken in this bitch. So Mark Ames posted something here from an oil executive, quote, industry officials say they are doing everything they can to sound an alarm that prices are about to soar as the commercial and government inventories that have mitigated price rises are rapidly depleting. In other words, once we blow through the commercial backup stock and the strategic reserve, we're cooked, bro. That's $6 a gallon gasoline, $7 a gallon gasoline. That's motherfucking rationing. That's a work from home order. That's nobody goes anywhere type order, bro. That's what this is. And people are acting like that's not the case. So, Reuters also reports that the UAE is so desperate that they're now talking to Iran through a back channel, and they already agreed to pay them billions of dollars. They said, we're going to transfer you up to $20 billion and try to reset relations with them. And they've already paid $3 billion to Iran. So in other words, even our allies, our nominal allies, are so fucking desperate. They're making side deals and backroom deals with Iran to desperately try to save their country. You know, save their only way of really making revenue. Along with, you know, they also have tourism, but tourism is cooked because it's only rich Epstein-class idiots who go to the Gulf Arab countries. Now they don't want to go there because they feel like they can get bombed. So they got nothing, and so now they're at Iran's mercy, and they're cutting side deals. So again, Iran has the upper hand in every imaginable way. Despite all that, Trump's in the White House, and Trump says, the strait has been open for months, and you didn't know about it. Reporters weren't able to get it. Again, just like such an insane lie. I can't even get through to you how insane that is. Like, we would know if the strait was open, you fucking jackass. There would be evidence of that. There would be experts talking about it. There are people who follow this stuff day in and day out. The strait is not fucking opening, you lying sack of shit. It's incredible he just says this stuff. He was also saying in the White House, quote, we've been taking out many ships that nobody knew. Not even the fake news knew it. We've been taking them quietly at night. We bombed their radar and everything so they couldn't see. We took out some nights 25 ships, some nights 15. The last 4 or 5, we did 25, 22, 21, 26, 18, and 14. Who else would remember those numbers? Nobody. So this is literally like I'm passing my dementia test, which I'm taking every other week, which isn't concerning at all, is it? I'm passing it all the... He's now saying, oh yeah, we're getting like 20 ships a day out of there, which, by the way, again, number one, not true at all. Number two, even if it was true, you fucking idiot, that's a literal drop in the bucket to how much we need to go through there. Oh my days, people really have no idea how fucked we are right now. Oh my word. Oh my word. Okay. Get this. Wall Street Journal is reporting that Trump and his allies have discussed pushing lawmakers to pass a resolution aimed at voiding his first-term impeachments. Okay? So, in the same way, Trump, I don't know if you guys remember this story, Trump went into a museum that the federal government controls and had them pull down all the stuff about his impeachments. He was like, keep Bill Clinton's, keep all the other ones up there, take mine down. Okay? Now he's trying to do the next level version of that. I know you see Stinky climbing around in the background there. Now he's trying to do the next level version of that. And the next level version of that is, let's get Congress to try to literally rewrite history and censor history and make it so that, no, I don't know what you're talking about. There was never any impeachment of me. And he's doing this at a time when his country's coming apart at the seams. He literally doesn't give a fuck. It's all about him. It's all about the perception of him. Insane, insane stuff. Okay. At the same time, you know, we have the UFC fight on the lawn of the White House in a couple days on June 14th. Now, by the way, decent chance it fucking rains and thunderstorms just like it's about to here, okay? All the time. This time of year in D.C., there's a lot of thunderstorms. It's very hot. Like I said, it was 98 degrees when I was at King's Dominion. A lot of thunderstorms, very mosquito-y, kind of like swampy feel in the air, very humid. And so they're going to do this thing outside, but it might get rained the fuck out, which would be great because this shouldn't even be fucking happening, right? But on the lawn of the White House now, as part of the UFC cage, they have Bud Light advertisements. Now, first of all, I thought you idiots said that Bud Light is woke now and you hate Bud Light. That's point number one. But point number two, putting that aside, because you did say they were woke, but now apparently you don't care because they're advertising for Trump on the White House for the UFC. But this shit is wildly fucking illegal. So as Fuck You I Quit says on Twitter, commercial advertising, product placements, and corporate sponsor promotions are explicitly prohibited on national parklands. The White House lawn is a unit of the national park system. It also violates standard anti-vending and solicitation laws, as well as misuse of public funds and government endorsement ethics. Everything this administration does spits in the face of our laws. Everything is a grift. So yet again, added to the list of like the fucking 12,306 things that they've done that are wildly illegal. It's just insane. Now, the good news is, as I'm talking to you right now, Donald Trump's name is being removed from the Kennedy Center, which is phenomenal. I fucking love that. There's a video of it. As people start taking down his name, you hear cheers erupting. So he bullied his way into getting his name on the Kennedy Center. A judge said, fuck you, you can't do that, pull that bitch down. Now they're actually pulling that bitch down. So that's phenomenal news. We also have this. Trump reportedly told aides that he was unhappy with Charlie Kirk and other influential supporters for alleging a Jeffrey Epstein cover-up. And he called Kirk to reprimand him and berate him just weeks before his assassination. I'm not kidding about this. This is the New York Times. It's Maggie Haberman. It's Jonathan Swan. Detailed reporting. I'm going to do probably a bigger breakdown on the rest of that article probably on Monday. We'll see. But how crazy is that, bro? How fucking crazy is that? Trump was berating Charlie Kirk before he was killed. A couple weeks before he was... Are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me? Now, that raises a bunch of questions, if you ask me. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? I think it does. All right. We also have Trump is quite literally turning the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, into the Epstein police force. So Trump is pushing Epstein Island confidant Jay Clayton to be the new head of DNI. Jay Clayton was a key partner of Leon Black's Apollo Global Management, which is basically a Mossad front company. Leon is intimately tied to Epstein and plastered all over the files. Jay Clayton was then appointed to head the rigged Southern District of New York to help with curating Epstein documents for the DOJ. And Jay Clayton, his whole point of being picked for this position is to weaponize the intelligence community against critics of Trump and Epstein and Israel, and is turning the DNI into the Epstein police force. So shout out to Godfrey on Twitter, Godfrey actually, who laid this all out for us here. But Trump posted that he's picking the highly respected Jay Clayton for DNI, which is literally, I mean, they are just spitting in our eye now, bro, over and over and over. I don't know if you saw this, but there's I guess it's the Texas Republican Convention today, and they decided to bring in an actual elephant, and that elephant immediately took a massive piss on the floor at the convention. So shout out to that elephant. That elephant is low-key a Democrat. The thing that's amazing about this is, like, if you see the video of it, elephants don't just piss, bro. It's literally like they dump a bucket of urine on the ground. It's not like a stream. It's not a flow. It's not smooth. It's just like, it just all drops on the ground obnoxiously. So shout out to that elephant. I love that. Should have pissed on Governor Hot Wheels himself. All right. We also have another judge coming out and indefinitely blocking Trump's anti-weaponization fund. That's the $1.776 billion thing where he tries to pay the January 6th terrorists and insurrectionists. And it's great that a judge just slapped that bitch down. Now, you still have to keep an eye on it, though, because we don't know if he's going to try some other sneaky-ass way of paying these people, which Enrique Tarrio, the head of the Proud Boys, came out and said Trump is going to have another way of paying them with zero oversight. So we'll see. I'll obviously report to you when we hear about what his next move is. But a judge is standing up to Trump's current plan and saying, we're not doing that. Sorry, that's not happening, which is great. So we have the victory over the Kennedy Center, and now we have the victory over this one. Okay. Now, Hunter Biden is out there, and Hunter Biden is defending Graham Plattner. Hunter Biden did Gavin Newsom's podcast, and to Gavin Newsom, he said this, quote, I always say to people, show me your phone. Give me access to your iCloud. Let's go through it and pull everything we can find that's inappropriate. And if that's the standard by which we're going to judge people, particularly in elected office, then I don't think we're going to have many people in elected office. And so as it relates to Graham Plattner, I focus on this. I have not heard anything in any way that would lead me to believe he's an abusive, misogynistic, anti-Semitic, or racist person. I have heard from this Graham Plattner that he thinks we should all have free health care. I've also heard from Graham Plattner that he thinks we have to radically change our politics. I have heard from Graham Plattner that working people are getting fucking screwed. Shout out to Hunter, man. Shout out to Big H, the big Hunter Biden, because that's what's up, man. There's something, I'm telling you, man, it's true. There's something about former addicts. They're very interesting people. My grandmother on my dad's side was a former addict, and she had like all sorts of mental illness. But she was one of the most interesting people in the family. I always found it most interesting talking to her, because like these people don't like small talk. They don't like bullshit. They want to have like real conversations, right? And that's what you get if you talk to one of these people, and that's exactly what Hunter Biden is providing here. So I don't know. I'm sure people are telling him this all the time, but Hunter, start a motherfucking podcast, okay? Also, I saw you agreed to go on somebody else's podcast, Adam Friedland's podcast, but you haven't agreed to come on mine yet. Come on, dog. I want you on my show. Let's chop it up in this bitch, please. Come on the show. And also start your own podcast, because he would be phenomenal on the mic. Okay. Here's another great fact. Newsweek is reporting that Graham Plattner won more votes than any other Democratic candidate in history in a Maine Senate primary. By the way, all the narratives about this race immediately fall apart because we now have the breakdown of some of the further numbers from the election, and the plurality of his support, the plurality, was self-described moderate Democrats. So ideologically, he's a leftist, right? But he attracted moderate voters the most. He had left-wing voters, progressive voters, but the plurality, there were more moderates than there were progressives. So in other words, there's like this cheat code in politics. Populist coded guy who looks like a MAGA chud, right? And that shit works. It works in the same way that Bernie won all the primaries in the Democratic primary in all like the redder states. Like, if you can hold the base and get moderates and have like some crossover appeal, man, you are fucking buttery to kill it in elections. And that's exactly what Graham did, bro. That's exactly. And the Bernie endorsed governor candidate came in third, right? So it wasn't just Bernie. It's not just Bernie's endorsement got him across the line. No, it was literally, he's got a unique appeal that even though he's an ideologue in a good way, he's a leftist, he attracts moderates. Okay. How about this one? Under Trump, insurance companies are now declining patients' requests for life-saving treatment at a dramatically higher rate. Experts believe this is because insurance companies know that the Trump administration will not hold them accountable. Okay? That is absolutely positively horrifying. At the same time, the Trump administration is quietly moving to change the Affordable Care Act to let health insurers offer people loans to pay for their care. Deep in a document of over 1,000 pages long about how the Affordable Care Act market will operate next year, the administration suggests that insurers consider offering loans to cash-strapped customers. So what we're looking at here is buy now, pay later for groceries, also for DoorDash and rent. 50-year mortgages is what Trump floated, and now loans for medical care. So this is absolutely positively getting out of fucking hand. They are trying to turn everybody in this country into a debt slave. That's what they want you to be, a fucking debt slave. All right. We also have another psychotic post here from Trump. He said, no other president has ever been more committed to both rebuilding our great military and saving our great country, and now is the time to make it happen for generations to come. I am hereby calling on Republicans in Congress to immediately advance and pass a forthcoming $350 billion reconciliation bill, which at the request of our great Department of War will include the Save America Act, which is trying to rig elections, by the way. This is a generational investment in our military, even bigger than President Reagan. Recon 3.0 is the only path to the full $1.5 trillion military budget our warriors need in order to build the arsenal of freedom. So think about this, bro. Think about this. So trying to do the Save America Act, which again rigs elections because it bans all mail-in voting. Okay, it makes voters show an ID but doesn't provide a guaranteed ID for everybody. It makes you show proof of citizenship. And it also, randomly, he adds no transgender mutilization, which isn't even a word. He adds that to like, what the fuck are we talking about here? And again, the bulk of the bill is $1.5 trillion for the military. At a time when inflation's out of control, unemployment's out of control, people are struggling, they can't pay the bills, right? Medical bills are the top cause of bankruptcy, Gilded Age income and wealth inequality. He just kicked 18 million people off Medicaid with his big bullshit bill. And now he's saying, how about $1.5 trillion for the military? Again, when, by the way, the Pentagon can't account for 63% of their money, they failed 8 audits in a row. So it is a fucking slush fund that the Epstein class is using to rob all of us. And he goes, give me $1.5 trillion for that while you struggle and you fucking starve and you fall apart. Oh my days, bro. Oh my word. Just broadcasting in one post. I'm going to steal the next election and also I'm going to rob you blind and take $1.5 trillion for the Epstein class and leave you high and dry. Oh my word. Okay. Trump also let his insane racism hang out in the White House in an Oval Office, press conference here. He said, quote, guys like me built the country. I watch all these ingrates. They're always complaining. They didn't build anything. They couldn't build anything. Look at what's happened in Minnesota, Somalia. I mean, the racism is like literally oozing at this point from everything he says. This got 1.6 million views, by the way, on Twitter on Aaron Rupar's account here. But like calling them ingrates, saying all they do is complain. By the way, you were born with a motherfucking silver spoon in your mouth, bro. You're a reality star buffoon. Your dad is a racist fucking douchebag with a bunch of, racial segregation cases against him. Okay? He said, I got a small loan of $1 million. That's a lie. He inherited hundreds of millions of dollars from his dad. Hundreds of millions. So he was born on third base, thought he had a triple. Now he complains that other people aren't productive. What the fuck do you do all day? Bomb little girl schools and then go play golf and eat McDonald's? Like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you had his little sycophants around him in the Oval Office trying to please him desperately. And one of them was Doug Burgum, who comes out. He was talking about wind turbines, right? He was asked about wind turbines. And he said this, quote, we have a report from Pete Kegsbreth, the Secretary of War Crimes, that it's a national security threat. to have wind turbines? He continues. You could launch an attack on the U.S. With a bunch of drones coming through a wind tower field. It would be undetectable until it came through because of the radar interference. Understand something, guys? Trump has a pet issue. He hates wind turbines, right? He's always hated them because he has a golf course in Scotland and the Scottish government put a bunch of wind turbines off the coast. He thinks it's ugly. He thinks it's an eyesore. Because of that, he's always hated wind turbines. So he lies about them all the time. He acts like they're the worst thing for the environment, worst thing for the world, right? And now he has his little sycophants lying for him on camera to the country, pretending like they're a national security threat? Oh, my days, bro. What are we supposed to do with these people? Oh my God. We're never going to get healthcare, are we? We're never going to end the wars, are we? We're never going to fix climate change, are we? Oh my word. All right. MS Now says the following. FBI agents on Thursday raided the Cleveland offices of the Ohio Organizing Collaborative, which is a pro-democracy organization that helps register voters in that state, according to 3 people briefed on the search. So now, in the same way that the Trump regime went after Act Blue, which is the Democratic payment processor, right? That's where like all the Democrats raise their money for their campaigns, their small dollar donations. In the same way that they went after the ACLU, right? In the same way they've gone, the SPLC. They went after the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center. Now they're going after a group that gets people registered to vote in Ohio. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because the people they're getting registered to vote are Democrats? Could it be that? Could it be that they're brown and black? Could it be that? So it's literally just an assault on one person, one vote. It's an assault on democracy. It's happening right in front of our eyes yet again. And nobody else is even going to fucking talk about it because these people have broken our outrage meter. They do so many insane things on a daily basis, people can't keep up. And so you're only going to hear about this here. 26 minutes and 45 seconds into a video where I'm on my fucking porch, where I don't even know how many of you even watching got this deep in the video. Shout out to you if you did, by the way. Put a little comment below if you're still listening at 26 minutes and 55 seconds, okay? All right. On this same topic here, we have CNN reporting that the Postal Service won't deliver mail ballots for states that don't hand over voter lists under a plan for a Trump directive. So again, what they're trying to do here is called ballot spoiling and ballot purging. Kick off the names that sound Democratic. If you have like a Hispanic sounding name or a black sounding name and one person with that name dies, kick off all the, Jose Mendoza's or whatever the fuck, right? Like, kick them all off. That's what this is. It's called ballot spoiling and ballot purging. It's one of the go-to Republican tricks to try to cheat and rig elections, okay? It's an open secret, by the way. Every Democrat knows that this is what they actually do. Democrats who are in the field, I would say. All right, we also have, in Michigan, 8 people have been arrested in FBI raids. Why? They say it's related to pro-Palestine advocacy at the University of Michigan. So they're running it back with Mahmoud Khalil and Rumeisa Ozturk. God forbid you're Muslim, God forbid you're brown, God forbid you're on a green card or you're an immigrant into this country and you dare to say free Palestine. You dare to say from the river to the sea. You dare to be anti-genocide. You dare to actually protest on that shit. They're not going to have it. So this country has absolutely shot freedom of speech dead. This man has ripped up the Constitution and taken a diarrhea shit on it right in front of our eyes. That's what's happening. In fact, how about this? 97 pardoned January 6th rioters have already been returned to prison for new crimes. For new crimes. By the way, how many of them are pedophiles? How many of them ended up killing people? A lot of them, by the way, because these are the dregs of society. And Trump knows that, but he likes that they commit crimes for him. That's why he pardoned them. All right. We also have U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, total evangelical apocalyptic psychopath, right? Thinks Jesus is going to come back in his lifetime in Israel. He comes out and he says that, oh, you trying to go inside, Stinky? You trying to go inside, little Stinky girl? Okay, give me a sec, guys. 1 second. Here, come on, Stinky. Come on, Stinky. Come on. Good girl. I find that people have a hard time really understanding, like, what, who Mike Huckabee is, like what these people actually believe. Because when you say it, it sounds fake. It sounds like it's not real. Like, this guy is a Bible literalist. He thinks the world is only thousands of years old, not 4.54 billion years old, okay? He once famously said when he ran for president, we should replace the Constitution with the Bible. Not kidding. Go look it up. I think I covered it before. I wasn't doing the show back in 07, 08 when he ran, but I played the clip years later, right? This guy thinks Jesus is going to come back on a winged horse in Israel, but in order for that to happen, Israel needs to control a greater Israel. They need to control virtually all the Middle East for Jesus to come back. So to fulfill biblical prophecy, he wants to help Israel do genocides and steal land. I'm not kidding. All this is documented, verified, is what he believes, okay? So he came out just the other day, and he said, Israel is successful, his words, not mine, not because of military, economic, or political factors, but because God directly favors and protects it. We will never have world peace while people like this are in positions of power where they make decisions. This is why I keep telling you guys, MAGA is a death cult, okay? MAGA is a death cult. And there's also a very heavy evangelical Christian Zionist element to this death cult. And they are actively trying to usher in end times because they think Jesus will come back when we get end times. So Mike Huckabee would not be in the room arguing against Trump dropping a nuke, for example, because he feels like that might lead to Jesus coming back faster. I'm not kidding. So just so scary, so disturbing. Speaking of disturbing, CNN's resident fact checker, Daniel Dale, hasn't conducted an on-air fact check on Trump in more than 3 months. And people point out on Twitter that that's a stretch that coincidentally began around the same time that Paramount announced its merger with Warner Brothers. So in other words, they know that Barry Weiss is coming in. She's going to clean house. She's going to turn CNN into a propaganda factory for MAGA and billionaires and Israel, just like she did with CBS, destroying all journalistic integrity, all of it, right? She's going to do the same thing with CNN. So CNN immediately censored and muzzled Daniel Dale, whose whole job is to fact check Trump, which, by the way, that is a full-time job, might I add. So here we go. It's done. Somebody was like, Jake Tapper, before this is all said and done, Jake Tapper is going to execute a Palestinian live on air to try to keep his job, right? I can see that. I mean, it's hyperbolic. He's not actually going to do that. But will he do more, fear-mongering over anti-genocide protesters? Abso-fucking-lutely. He's already pro-Israel. He's going to ramp that bitch up knowing Barry Weiss is coming in because that's what she actually wants to see. So he's going to ramp up the both sides bullshit and not tell the truth anymore, right? Ramp up the both sides bullshit, ramp up the pro-billionaire sentiment, ramp up the Zionist sentiment. He knows the formula in order to keep his job, right? He knows it. Okay, by the way, when's your book coming out on Trump, Jake? When's your book coming out on Trump? I know you wrote that book about, Joe Biden and his health problems and they were hiding stuff and this and that. When's your book coming out on Trump? There's way more hidden stuff about Trump. There's way more juicy stuff there about Trump. There's way more details about Trump. We know he's dealing with dementia, Alzheimer's. We know he's rotting away physically and mentally, the bruise on his hand, the Leqembi injections, the MRIs, all these health problems. The other day they said he's seen 22 specialists since getting back into the White House. He's taken the dementia test, 4 times, 5 times? You don't do that unless there's signs of dementia, right? Where's your book on Trump? Are you going to wait until everybody agrees that he is sundowning also and then write the book? Or you want to be brave and do it now? Talk about it now when you should, when it's actually happening. Because you said the lesson you learned from the Biden thing is, I should have spoke out sooner. Well, here you are. You can speak out sooner, but you're not doing it. You're not doing it. Why? Because you're trying to keep your fucking job and you got to coddle Trump's balls on new CNN to please Barry Weiss and Donald Trump. Jesus fucking Christ, I hate this guy. All right. How about this? So, Katie Miller and Stephen Miller just had a little demon together. I mean, a baby. And get this, they named the baby Hawthorne Hayes Miller. Hawthorne Hayes Miller. Now, when you first hear that, you might go, okay, whatever, it's just a name. Who cares, right? Guys, Hawthorne Hayes. What is that? HH. Hail Hitler, right? Now, if that's not clear enough, count it out. How many letters are in Hawthorne Hayes? 14. The 14 letters. It's not motherfucking subtle, bro. It's not. You're not fooling anybody, dog. And by the way, he's not trying to fool anybody. This is literally like watch me trigger the libs type moment. That's what he's doing. And this is the guy who orchestrated the ICE Gestapo thugs terrorizing communities all across this country and shoving people in concentration camps and assaulting senior citizens and shit. He's the guy. He is quite literally and quite directly a Jewish Nazi. He's a Jewish Nazi. That's what he is. So he names his kid Hawthorne Hayes, HH, Hail Hitler, and it's got 14 letters. Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't have the words for how depraved these people are. They're so depraved. Literally, even Trump was like, I can't tell you what Stephen Miller really believes because it's a little extreme. When Trump is saying something's extreme, this is a guy who casually tweeted he was going to annihilate an entire civilization in Iran and bomb a little girls' school. Right? And he's saying, this guy's a little extreme. Think about how bad. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my word. Okay. All right. By the way, we were just speaking about Barry Weiss, right? Well, 60 Minutes had a piece that was going to come out by Cecilia Vega on the UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories and a prominent critic of Israel's genocide in Gaza, Francesca Albanese. So she's been a hero standing up against the genocide from within the UN, right? 60 Minutes was going to run a piece on her. Barry Weiss immediately interjects and fires the journalist, Cecilia Vega, who was going to do the piece. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What CBS is now, what 60 Minutes is now, is a propaganda factory. It's going to be pro-MAGA bullshit, pro-billionaire bullshit, pro-Israel bullshit, but best case scenario, it's both sides nonsense, right? But they won't even allow this. They won't even allow the truth to be told on a literal, obvious genocide with a UN official who was blowing the whistle. What else is there to say about that, man? The Intercept is reporting that one top military officer provided a plausible explanation behind closed doors on Capitol Hill. The Intercept learned in the briefing a high-ranking officer on the Pentagon's Joint Staff stated that some of the people killed by the U.S. military were victims of human trafficking. So all of these boat strikes that are happening in the Pacific, in the Caribbean, I've talked about them. We've showed you them. They've now killed over 200 people who were just fishermen. They were just fishermen, you know, off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago and shit, right? They killed 200 people, at least 200 people. Well, the Intercept is reporting that some of the people they killed were actually victims of human trafficking. Victims. That's crazy, Thunder, bro. God damn. That's wild. I don't know. Good. Googly moogly. That's creepy even to me. God diggity damn. But think about that. So they killed a bunch of fishermen. They claim, oh my God, they're narco-terrorists. First of all, that's not a thing, right? Like, what are you going to blow yourself up in the name of cocaine? It's not a thing, right? Like, you can be a narco-trafficker, but that's a penalty that's like, you know, they seize the drugs and they give you a couple years in jail and that's it. You call it a day. Like, that's not a crime worthy of death. Never mind instant death. Never mind no due process or rights plus death, right? Instant murder for it's like smuggling some weed. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But, so they claim that. There's no evidence of that. A bunch of them are fishermen, right? Maybe some of them are smuggling some drugs, but even so, you can't kill them. You can't murder them, but that's what they do. But now we learned some of it was actual, like, human trafficking, but there were a bunch of victims, majority victims on the boat. I mean, they're like literal cartoon villains, bro. They're like literal cartoon villains. So that's what I got for you guys, man. Like I said, or I don't know if I said it, but everybody go sign up for Crystal Kylan Friends on Substack. We have a great conversation with an AI expert who is going to lay it all out for us. Hey, here's what AI is doing. Here's how they're going to take over. Here's how we fight back. Here's how we protect people. We spoke to Garrison Lovely is his name. Don't miss it. Sign up on Substack to see the full conversation. Awesome conversation with Garrison Lovely. And yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Love you all. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And I will see you soon. Peace. If I can find the button. Here we are.